It is my pleasure to welcome you to Google London, and thank you all for coming to our Global Media Literacy Summit. I think we have something like over 200 media literacy practitioners from all over the world in the room here today. And folks have come from as far as Mongolia and Australia just to be here with us. So I thank you for that. We are looking forward to a great day of sharing knowledge, asking questions, and building relationships, and I am so excited for that. My name is Ramya Raghavan, and I lead outreach for the Google News Initiative, which is our umbrella effort for everything that we do in news and to help journalism thrive in the digital age. When I'm not at work, I'm usually chasing after my very active 2-year-old son, Kieran, and he's part of why I'm personally passionate about media literacy. I remember back to when I was a student, and it sometimes felt hard to find the information that I was looking for a particular assignment. For example, when I was in Model United Nations, I had to write a report about extradition practices in Cape Verde, and the encyclopedia in my local library did not quite deliver the information that I was looking for. Well, Kieran and his peers are going to have the opposite problem. They are going to be overwhelmed by the abundance of information that's available online about every subject under the sun. And he's going to have to learn how to parse what's credible and what isn't in this really complicated online space. But what gives me hope is all of you in this room here today, already doing so much powerful work around the world to tackle this important issue. And I hope that we can take the next step here today. Media literacy is also very important to Google. And we want to learn, we want to listen. Please do come find any of the Googlers here. We'd love to have conversations about your work, what you're doing in this space. One of the key goals of the Google News Initiative is supporting quality journalism. And we think about tackling that in 3 fundamental ways. One is our products. How can we surface authoritative information across our platforms? The second is partnerships. How can we partner with organizations across the ecosystem? So this might be, partnering with fact-checking organizations or on fact-checking partnerships with credible journalistic organizations. And the third is people. How can we help people parse fact from fiction online? We're going to get into products a little bit later in our Google panel, but I think we'll spend most of today talking about 2 and 3, namely, how can organizations and institutions like yours help consumers discern information online, particularly in this increasingly complex and nuanced online world? The challenge is real. According to a Stanford study, and you're going to hear more from the fantastic team at Stanford later today, 93% of US college students couldn't flag a lobbyist's website as biased. In addition, right here in the UK, the Commission on Fake News in their final report cited that only 2% of young people have the critical media literacy skills that are required to tell real news from fake news online. And so we know that media literacy is an issue that spans generations, education levels, and cultures. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. So today, together, we hope that we can share knowledge, be really real about what's working and what isn't, ask provocative questions, and build meaningful relationships that help us further and foster new ideas in this space. With that, I want to welcome my friend and colleague, Lacy Caruthers, to the stage to talk more about the work that Google.org is doing and the work of their grantees. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramya. First, another very warm welcome to the Google offices here at King's Cross. I'm so excited to be with all of you today at our first Global Media Literacy Summit in London. I did my graduate studies here, so I'm always happy for the chance to come back and visit my old stomping grounds. My name is Lacy Caruthers, and I'm a director at Google's philanthropy, Google.org. And our mission is to bring together Google's people, products, and philanthropy to tackle some of the world's biggest challenges. And we work really closely with NGOs, social enterprises, and universities around the world to be able to do that. And like Ramya, when I'm not at work, I'm often also chasing after an energetic toddler. My son Finn is 3, though we've taken to calling him a 3-nager. Given his musical tastes, his current favorites are Queen, Elton John, and the Beatles, very British. I know, and of course his attitude. But as Ramya shared, and as I'm sure many in this room can relate to, there's nothing quite like having a young child to drive home the importance of media literacy. At Google.org, we've had a long time focus on equipping young people with the digital skills that they need to thrive as creators, consumers, and citizens in the digital age. And as everyone in this room knows, learning how to critically evaluate information online is a fundamental component of this skill set. That's why we've committed $10 million to organizations around the world working on media literacy, many of whom are in this room today. I've been so inspired and humbled by the amazing organizations we've had the privilege of supporting over the last 2 years. And I want to take a moment to highlight some of the groups that we'll hear from today. Masato Kajimoto from the University of Hong Kong, Matt Love from creative agency Love Frankie, and Santi Indra Astuti from Mafindo in Indonesia. Together, they're developing a creator-driven web series in 3 markets across Asia to reach young people outside of the classroom. The MediaWise initiative in the US, a diverse coalition of partners spanning academia, nonprofits, YouTube creators, local news publishers, young people themselves, and many others to deliver a multifaceted nationwide campaign for US teens. We'll also hear from Natalie Turvey of the Canadian Journalism Foundation, who is expanding their successful news literacy program from students to voting age adults. And they're one of the first partners that we actually started working with a couple of years ago and have been fundamental in shaping the approach we've taken to this work. And lastly, Patricia Blanco from Instituto Palavra Aberta in Brazil. They're working hand in hand with the Ministry of Education to integrate media literacy into Brazil's Common Core, which I think is just a really exciting and ambitious vision. So these are just a few of today's highlights. We'll hear from many other folks around the world doing incredible work in this space. And I've just been blown away by the optimism and the dedication and the big ideas that we've seen from these groups. And it really gives me hope that through further partnership and collaboration, the sky truly is the limit in terms of what we can tackle together. So thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedules and busy lives to be here today. I hope that we'll learn from each other, build new relationships, hopefully find potential future collaborators, and have some fun in the process. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Ramya to get us started for the day. Thank you.